Famous philosopher said, take the first step, even if you can't see the top of the ladder. Believe in yourself, even if no one else does. Good morning and a very warm welcome to this edifying session by our keynote speaker, Advocate Anil Harishji and Ms. Shazia Irani and Jagtiani. Come on guys, can you all give that applause? Thank you for that very generous introduction. I would like to tell sir, it's been difficult whom to allow. As you can see, they're all sitting in the aisles. We have all our BCom, BMS, BAF students all keen for this. But I just want to start this day with nothing to do about law, but a very interesting case study that I often do with my students, and that's about TQM, Total Quality Management. It's a customer-oriented, quality-oriented, focused management. It begins way back in our own scriptures. How did Arjuna become the best archer in the world? He became the best archer because of his focus and concentration. He was the only one who could shoot with his eyes closed, blindfolded. And when Guru Dronacharya asked him that, what do you see, Arjun, when you have to shoot the bird's eye? Do you see the trees, the sky, the river? He said no. Do you see the bird? He said no. I see only the bird's eye. And that's the focus and power of 100% concentration. Bhagavad Gita says the most pure relation in the world is that between mother, parent and child. Because every other relation, your friends, cousins, relatives, etc. are good, they are there with us. But nothing, because each parent has done for each of us much beyond their capacity and much beyond their capability. And that is why you may live anywhere in the world, and as a young rebel you may fight with your parents and bang the door and say, it's my life, who are you to tell me what to wear, where to go, whom to talk to. But God forbid, if something happens to our parent, we are the ones who are most shaken. Because it was not necessary for your mother to get up at 5 o'clock when you have a 7 o'clock lecture. When you have fever, she's kept awake all night. She has studied, missed weddings because you have an exam. Everything, it's only about you, you and you. Your hobby, your holidays, your future. Many parents in India don't even celebrate their own anniversary without their children. And that's the attachment, that the focus and power is so much on that child. And that's what TQM says. If you focus so much on the customer, give him everything, the power of your focus is so much that the customer is bound to feel attached to the brand. And illustrating this is the case study of the country Japan. Everybody has seen Japan on the world map, right? It's one tiny strip. It's 1/4 the size of a country like India, a state like Maharashtra, 1/4. Nothing grows in Japan. They're not agriculturally rich like us. They're not oil rich like the Gulf. They're not like Europe, which is iron and coal and steel rich. Nothing grows in Japan. Japanese people are short in height. Their eyes, if you must have seen, are like tiny balls. They love Indians because we have big eyes. Japan faced the worst 2 nuclear holocausts in the history of the world in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. 3 generations suffered those effects because pregnant women gave birth to handicapped and maimed children, and they again had the next generation. In spite of that, all of this, Japan is the number 2 country in the world after United States of America. In every part of the world you will find a Japanese product. They are giving tough competition to US. In fact, last week I read that Sony Entertainment Television wants to take over Paramount Pictures and Warner Brothers, which are the 2 biggest Hollywood production houses. How has Japan come up? Only because of one industry, and that is the electronics industry. And electronics, my dear friends, does not grow in the soil. It would be so nice if iPhones were growing on trees, we could go pluck them and take them. But electronics is a result of the human brain. Because Japanese people believe in 100% perfection. If the train is supposed to come at 7:02, if it comes at 7:05, they are refunded their ticket money. If They don't know the meaning of the word delay, wastage, scrap, because for Japanese, 100% perfection. In fact, they have become so obsessed with their perfection that Japan incidentally has one of the highest suicide rates in the world after Britain and US. Why suicide? At two ages, one at 15 and the other at 16. At 15, a boy and girl, like we have SSC over here, they finish their high school. A boy or girl, if they are told that they want to do electronics engineering and they are forced to do chemical engineering or some other one, they would rather end their life than spend their life doing something which is not their first choice. That is how obsessed they are. And 60, what's the age of 60? Retirement. If you tell a Japanese employee, go home, your career is over, they go home and shoot themselves in the head because they cannot think of a life without work. We are good culturally with the maximum bank holidays and the kind of culture we have, but we need to learn the ethics of professionalism and how much concentrated they are. In fact, Tokyo City has a zero birth rate. People don't want to have babies because no matter how much paternity leave, maternity leave, 3 times pay, somebody has to stay at home for 3 years to take care of the baby and nobody wants to miss their career. That of course is an extra extreme. My uncle visited Tokyo and he said Japanese offices look like 5-star hotels. So people work till 2 in the night, then sleep for 3 hours. They have a swim, a restroom, and they have their breakfast, and 7 o'clock they are back to work. So if these needs are satisfied in the office, they don't feel the need to go home. So obviously their divorce rate is very high because how will marriages survive? So this is of course another extreme, but what we really need to learn is their power of concentration, focus. If you have decided that this is your goal, there is no way that anything and anything can deter you from taking it. So it's my absolute honor and privilege to welcome the very eminent luminary of our HSNC board, immediate past president and provost HSNC University, Advocate Anil Harishji. Thank you so much, sir. Come on guys, what is really insightful about sharing from my personal experience, of course he is the man with the golden heart, he is the man with so much of wisdom and knowledge, but at every platform that, I have heard him for now close to 28 years, when I was a teacher, when I was a vice principal, and at every platform, he always says different things. I've always seen him very well researched, very insightful, because he believes that the audience's time is very important and there's always a value addition because they learn something from his session. So thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation for this enlightening session. A very warm to our young Miss Irani from D.M. Hari School of Law and E.G. Jani. Come on, guys. And thank you to all my faculty for organizing this. But I think your takeaway from today's session would be definitely all of you must understand that law is so important. It's not only restricted to people who are going to face any kind of cases, but we must know our rights, our duties in the social media, in cyber security, in every field, in tax, in accountancy. Law affects and touches each of our lives. So all of you must consider doing a degree in law because it is definitely going to help you in your future. So thank you very much to all my wonderful team, especially Kezad sir, Krupa ma'am, Dr. Nikisha Kukreja for putting this together. And sir, I can't resist but sharing a personal thing which this is probably the last formal function that I'll see my students. And I just can't resist sharing this, something that my father shared with me. I was very young when I got married, and one day I told my father, "Why did you send me away? I was so comfortable in your house. Why did you have to send me away?" And he said that a seed can only become up to a sapling under the shade of the tree. It has to be planted somewhere else to become a sapling, a plant, a tree maybe as big as the parent tree or even bigger than the parent tree to get its full potential. So all of you must understand, go out in the world, develop your full potential and grow much, much bigger than all of us. So wishing you all the very best, and I conclude with Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's wise words, who said, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." Thank you so much.